Today, I will be sharing about the importance of Key Performance Indicators or KPIs in Malaysia public sector management. In today's governance landscape, there's growing pressure the government to be more efficient, transparent, and accountable. To meet this expectation, KPIs have been widely adopted as a tool to measure the success of specific objectives over time. In Malaysia, KPIs were formally introduced in 2009 to evaluate cabinet ministers, marking a shift towards result-based management. This was later expanded across ministries and government agencies through Government Circular 20, ensuring that public officials work within clear measurement performance frameworks. Although KPI have helped improve service delivery and accountability, challenges remain, especially in balancing quantitative indicators with qualitative outcomes like public satisfaction. This study aims to explore how KPIs enhance public accountability, assess their effectiveness, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and recommend improvements to strengthen governance and public trust.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Today I would like to talk about the background of Key Performance Indicators or KPIs, especially in the context of public sector and how they relate to the governance model known as New Public Management (NPM). So in both public and private sector, measuring employee performance is not just useful, it is essential. So we need a clear mechanism to know how well an individual, team, or even an organization in performing. Over the years, the government has used KPIs as a performance measurement tool to track and assess progress, productivity, and service quality. More importantly, KPI have become a standard practice across successful organizations and governance bodies because they serve as a guide for decision making, goal setting, and accountability. KPIs are measurable values that reflect how effectively an organization in achieving its strategic objective. So these indicators can be applied across various aspects such as program, projects, and even policies. So they are tied to specific target, timelines, and benchmark to monitor performance. In the public sector, KPIs were introduced to help civil servants improve efficiency, align performance with national goals, and most importantly, uphold principles of integrity and good governance. KPIs also serve as a tool for improving service delivery and ensuring accountability. Now, let's connect this to the new concept of New Public Management or the NPM. So NPM is a reform movement that aims to modernize the public sector by adopting private sector practices such as performance-based management, market-oriented principle, and greater focus on the result. So one of the core elements of NPM is the use of KPIs. So KPIs under NPM are used to monitor the outcome and also the output, turning traditional bureaucratic function into result-driven tasks. So in Malaysia, KPIs have played a major role in improving transparency and responsiveness in the public services. So instead of focusing only on the procedures, government agencies are now being evaluated based on real and measurable results. So in conclusion, KPIs are not just performance tools, they are a part of larger system that promotes accountability, efficiency, and better public service delivery, which is at the heart of new public management. Thank you.
Today I'll be sharing about the key factors behind the implementation of key performance indicators in the public sector. To make this more relatable, I'll be using public housing management in Malaysia as the main example. The first factor is efficiency in service delivery. This means agencies must ensure that public services are completed within a reasonable time and in an organized manner. In public housing, for instance, one KPI currently used is that housing unit must be allocated within 14 working days after repairs are completed. This KPI reflects the importance of tracking how quickly services are delivered to citizens. The second factor is productivity of resources, especially human and financial. In public housing, limited rental income and high rate of rent default often cause financial strain. KPIs in this area should help track how well funds are used and whether the current system is financially sustainable. Without measuring financial performance, agencies cannot plan long-term improvements. Third factor is public or customer satisfaction. After all, the main users of government services are the people. Yet in Malaysia, public input is often lacking when designing KPIs. For example, tenants in public housing are rarely consulted on what they expect or how satisfied they are with building conditions, safety, or management services. Including the public's voice would make KPIs more meaningful and ensure services actually meet their needs. The final factor is stakeholder engagement. KPI should not be created solely by internal departments or ministry. Instead, civil society, local communities, and even tenants themselves should have a say in what success looks like. Without public involvement, KPI risks being too shallow or irrelevant. In fact, the experts like Sanger and Thompson have emphasized that public participation can improve acceptance of performance systems and reduce conflict later on. Now, let's look at the real situation in public housing under DBKL. According to recent studies, only 2 performance indicators are currently used, one for tenancy management and one for complaint response. That's clearly insufficient. A zone manager interview in a recent study ever mentioned the urgent need for a more comprehensive KPI system covering broader aspects like building maintenance, tenant well-being, and financial recovery. In conclusion, while Malaysia has made efforts to introduce KPIs in the public sector, the implementation is still narrow and top-down. The case of public housing clearly shows the importance of developing KPIs based on efficiency, productivity, satisfaction, and stakeholder engagement. For KPIs to be truly effective, we must involve in the people who are affected the most.
Let's begin with the first and perhaps most persistent issue, which is bureaucratic inefficiency and corruption. As highlighted by Ruhana Muhammad Zam 2025, public sector institutions often operate under outdated procedure, rigid hierarchy, and entrance resistant to change. This factor obstruct the implementation of performance management system, leading to delays in decision making, inefficient resources allocation, and also inconsistent application of accountability measure. This inefficiency slows down the administrative function and causes performance metrics to lose connection with real-world outcome. In such environment, even well-intentioned KPI become ceremonial, check-off but not truly impactful. The situation worsens when corruption enters the equation. Selective enforcement of policies, rule bending, and a lack of managerial clarity, as identified by Ruhana Muhammad Zam 2024, create opportunities for unethical behaviour. Staff moral declines and oversight become ineffective, and also public trust is eroded. Moreover, unethical leadership, as discussed by Atia Al-Shamari 2015, filter downward, setting a tone where accountability is not modeled, let alone enforced. In such setting, performance improvement becomes secondary to political or personal agendas. Unless these deep-rooted structural problems are addressed, even the most sophisticated KPI system remains superficial and ineffective. The second major cause is restricted public access to performance data and a lack of external engagement. According to Barizah Abu Bakar 2011, government agencies in Malaysia have historically shared very limited information, focusing only on surface-level data such as budget allocation without disclosing more insightful KPI outcomes. This opacity makes it nearly impossible for the public to monitor or evaluate how well agencies are performing. This lack of transparency is reflected in global assessment. The World Bank government's indicators and the Open Budget Index have consistently ranked Malaysia low in areas of voice accountability and also budget transparency. The issue is compounded by the fact that KPI reports are typically restricted to internal audiences, kept within ministries and central agencies. This inward-looking approach prevents external monitoring, public feedback, and media scrutiny, all of which are essential for robust accountability. Another critical point is the technocratic nature of KPI development. Government agencies frequently rely on private consultants like Ethos Consulting, excluding key stakeholders such as service users, civil servants, or unions. This disconnect KPI design from real societal needs and public expectation. By contrast, international examples like the UK early transparent reform shows that even if there's initial resistance, publishing performance data can significantly boost public trust and improve outcomes. The third issue undermining public accountability is the lack of clarity and transparency in how KPIs are developed and evaluated. Arni Abdullah 2022 emphasized that many public sector KPIs are either too broad, too vague, or too simplistic. Instead of focusing on quality, impact, or fairness, many KPIs track only basic outputs like the number of documents, processes, or services delivered, without evaluating the actual benefits those services provide. For example, in Malaysia, early KPI frameworks rolled out in 2004 under Prime Minister Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi were output-centric. They emphasise easy-to-measure statistics, which often ignore the deeper question of effectiveness or public value. Even when KPI are clearly failing, bureaucratic inertia often prevents timely revision. Institutional resistance, coupled with a lack of performance-based incentive, means ineffective KPIs can linger for years without adjustment. Another complicating factor is political instability. Frequent leadership changes often bring about new KPI priorities without proper continuity or alignment with long-term public goals. This contributes to a stop-start cycle that weakens institutional memory and creates confusion among civil servants and the public alike. According to Barizah Abu Bakar 2011, these KPIs are often developed behind closed doors without stakeholder inputs or opportunities for public scrutiny. Without such engagement, KPI system become insular and self-referential, missing the chance to reflect community priorities or receive constructive feedback. In short, KPI that are unclear, non-transparent, and disconnected from citizens fail to serve as meaningful instrument of public accountability.
Hi, I'm Mikael Nokis. So I will be presenting on how to improve KPI effectiveness in the public sector by focusing on capacity building, stakeholder engaging, and real-time feedback within a performance-based framework. To make KPI work better, future policies must support a capacity building through a structured training, continuous learning, and real-time performance system. Engaging stakeholders like citizens, frontline staff, and policymakers through a feedback loops ensure KPI stay relevant and impactful. This builds trust and accountability, but without a proper support, it risks becoming just a formality. Malaysia's approach mirrors successful reform in South Korea and Singapore, where mandates are used to align operational goals with policy. Let's move to the next point, which is clear target and benchmark. Clear target and benchmark agencies like NLD Pulau Pinang set monthly KPI targets, example like 924 My Kids and Birth certificates based on Mampu standards. This boosts service quality, clarifies expectation, and support transparency, aligned with key features of the new public management model. Clear KPIs reduce internal confusions and strengthen evidence-based decisions, just like Singapore's PSOR framework. Next point, we move to the real-time feedback integrations. Real-time monitoring such as an NLD daily customer satisfaction form help respond quickly to service issues. This reflects a principle from a total quality management by promoting a constant improvement. A strong digital tools and staff training make this possible, as seen in Singapore use of a real-time dashboard.
To conclude, the integration of key performance indicators or KPIs in Malaysia's public sector marks a vital step in promoting transparency, accountability, and service excellence. As highlighted, KPIs are central to the new public management framework, shifting public services from traditional bureaucracy to performance-based governance. However, challenges still exist, such as limited public involvement, outdated metrics, and a lack of real-time feedback systems. This issue weaken overall accountability and prevent KPIs from fully reflecting public needs. Moving forward, improvements are essential. I recommend 3 key reforms. Firstly, institutionalize stakeholder consultation so the public can help shape KPIs. Secondly, implement capacity building program for civil servants. And third one, develop a real-time feedback system to improve service responsiveness. By addressing this, Malaysia can create a more democratic, transparent, and citizen-focused public administration. That's all from us. Thank you.